Welcome back, NSP Nation, to another episode of Not So Pro Football Talk. And we are back after Championship Sunday, where we have crowned the Chiefs and 49ers the winners of their respective conferences. And they are going to be meeting up in about 2 weeks from now to crown who will be at the top of the mountain. What's up? Not so looking good. Good to see you here. But we got the Chiefs and the 49ers both winning this past Sunday. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know that because you jumped into our live yesterday watching both of those games, reacting to us live. And Big Money Joe is feeling himself just like AJ down here with the shades. Says 49ers for life, NSP for life. Love to hear it, man. Love to hear it. All right, so how are we feeling coming off of this Sunday? We already given a lot of our thoughts about these games. But, hey, we had a Swiftie Super Bowl coming up. And from everybody's reactions, everybody's pissed about this Super Bowl matchup, all right? We got the Kansas City Chiefs, who everybody already hated before this. And then you had Taylor Swift into the mix, and everybody's just sick and tired of it. And then you have 49ers on the other side, who everybody just hates Brock Purdy, hates everything about him for absolutely no reason, just hates him and just hates the 49ers because, they've won multiple Super Bowls. They're kind of like the Cowboys, just a little bit, not obnoxious like the fans. But people have historically hated this franchise. So nobody's happy about this Super Bowl matchup. Not even a little bit. Vincent, what are your reactions to this?
Hey man, I'm just sad that football's almost over. That's the only thing. I don't really have an opinion right now because I don't really like the Chiefs and I don't really like the 49ers. So, but I'm excited that there's going to be a good game most likely for the Super Bowl. But I'm not excited for this week because I'm not going to watch the Pro Bowl at all. So
yeah,
just gotta wait one more week after this.
Yep. How are you feeling, AJ?
I'm pumped. I'm ecstatic, man. That game was a roller coaster. The game before was a roller coaster. I mean, my mental health is at a very unstable level right now. So the 49ers, I believe, need to help me pay some medical bills that are coming up. But they have to win this game. And I'm so ecstatic. I'm so ecstatic. And for those of y'all who are disappointed that the Niners are going to the Super Bowl, grow up. Just grow up. Okay, I can understand with the whole Chiefs thing. It's kind of like a soap opera. It's all this, and that. And those of y'all who still supporting Travis Kelce, grow up. Do me a favor, grow up. Okay, but I'm pumped, dude. I'm freaking pumped. These players are pumped. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to press conferences. I'm listening to players who posting on social media. Everyone's pumped, both sides of the ball. What's there not to be excited about? This is a rematch, and everyone loves a good Super Bowl rematch. And I say a good one because this is going to be a good one. It sparked something back in 2019, and we're revived. We're revived. A lot of players on the Niners that deserve a ring out there.
Very nicely said. Not so looking good says they hate us because they ain't us as the Niners are getting ready to get that revenge against the Chiefs.
You gotta say it like the movie.
They hate us because they ain't us.
I'm not trying to get us canceled, boys. All right.
Oh, from what you were talking about last time.
No matter who watches or not, it's still going to happen, and there will be a winner.
Yep.
That's very true. I think there's going to be one of the most watched Super Bowls ever because all the Swifties are going to be watching. It's gonna be awesome Super Bowl. Taylor Swift's she's gonna come down on that zip line and perform in the halftime. No, AJ,
the wire's gonna break.
Yeah. Boycott Taylor Swift and Eminem, says Big Money Joe. I don't know about Eminem. I think his music's really good. I know you're upset about the flipping off that he did to the 49ers fans, but hey, he's upset. He loves his team. Yeah, you would flip someone other. I don't know whose stars are like big Niner fans off the top of my head. But what?
So there's quite a few.
Yeah, I know there's a lot. I just couldn't think off the top of my head. But yeah. And then much love to Eminem, but he took a fat L. Hey, his team got much farther than they've ever had in a long time. He has a lot to be happy about at the end of the day.
Yeah, hey, don't worry. We got E40 in the building, all right? E40 is gonna be there. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be legit. Bang bang Niner gang.
All right.
Go.
Usher is the halftime show, says Big Money Joe. Yes, he is. But Taylor Swift could, jump in there for a little bit.
I'm actually very excited about Usher. I mean, that's our time, right?
Yeah,
that was us growing up. Usher.
2010s.
Yeah, that's us. But unfortunately, the Niners are playing the Super Bowl, and the last time the Niners played in the Super Bowl, I didn't enjoy any commercial. I didn't enjoy any halftime. I'm zoned in. I'm dialed in. I'm watching film. I'm training hard every single day. I'm watching. I'm dialed in.
You're dialed in just like the players are.
Just how every 49er fan should be and are. If they're faithful out there, I know Big Money Joe and also looking good. They're dialed in right now too. I know they are.
All right. So let's jump into these games and start talking about some of the topics we have for today. The Chiefs did it again. This is the fourth time in the past 5 years that they have made the Super Bowl. Fourth time in the past 5 years. We went from one Tom Brady to another. One Tom Brady to another. And I just, unless Andy Reid ends up retiring after this year, I have a tough time believing that even if they do lose the Super Bowl, I have a tough time believing that they won't be back for more to come. This team is good. Travis Kelce might also retire. There's chances for that, definitely, especially with his new love life going on. And apparently they're supposed to get engaged or whatever after the season. We'll have to see about that. But as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, I feel like they're going to be a great team for years and years to come. And I feel like if I was a fan of a team that was in the AFC, I would just be so pissed because I've watched the Patriots run our conference for years upon years upon years, and now I got a no guy coming in here and running this conference for years and years, and now it looks like it's going to be multiple years. Patrick Mahomes is only 28 years old. He's only 28. He's got another 12 years, most likely. How many more Super Bowls does he have to come? So how do you guys feel about the Chiefs making it again to the Super Bowl? You got to respect greatness. You got to respect it.
So I think Patrick Mahomes is one win away from passing Peyton Manning for the playoff wins or whatever in that ranking system. I don't know who has the most. I'm pretty sure it's probably Brady.
Probably. But
yeah, I mean it's cool. Yeah, I like it, but also I don't like it for 6 years straight. I don't think he's at the Brady level yet. He probably won't be, and there probably won't be a situation to talk about until he has at least 6 rings. But I do think Patrick Mahomes is great. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, man. There's something about him. I just don't dig it. I actually watched some more of those videos where, it looked like Kelce was the one beefing with the Niner or the Ravens kicker. Again, his name is Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker, yeah. I don't know why his name always eludes me, but it looked like Patrick Mahomes was like the guy initiating because he was the one throwing Justin Tucker's kicking stand away. So I don't know. Just I feel like it could be a character thing. Could be the family situation there with the Mahomes and everything that happens there. But I just feel like they bring media to the NFL and they amplify it. Tom Brady never really did that. And I guess that's why I have a lot more respect for him, even though he is one of the best players, if not the best player in NFL history. But I just felt like Brady didn't bring that. I don't know if that was Bill Belichick's doing and how the Patriots run their organization, but feels like the Kansas City Chiefs just let him run rampant and his family as well. So I think that's what really bugs me.
Nice. And I would love to get my take, but let's address this comment real quick. Alonso says, damn, Lions should have had that game. And here on this podcast, we might be a little biased sometimes, but we always talk about the truth. And you know what? It was their game to lose. It was their game to lose. They They had us. They had the Niners in the first half. I mean, 24-7. That was their game, right? But hey, Niners came back. They came out with grit. They took every opportunity. And if opportunity was there, they took it, right? They took it. Besides that first field goal coming out of the half, the Lions just didn't match up. They didn't match our level of intensity towards the end. But yeah, it was their game to lose. The Lions, great team. Looking forward to what they got in the future. But going back to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, you got to give respect where respect's due, right? So these guys are ballers. And it seems like there's a trend when it comes to these championship teams, counted from the past with the New England Patriots. You have one hell of a head coach. You have a very talented quarterback, and you have an extremely talented tight end. And that's exactly all the key factors that you need to have a successful team. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they have all those key factors. Let's check that off, okay? Now, these individuals' personality, that's a huge X mark. I don't like their personality, but as far as athletes, these guys are it. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he's very young, but we're seeing a trend. I'm still not gonna discontinue what we saw this past season. We saw a very slight downslope, and we're seeing more and more of who he really is on the field now, trying to start fights with refs. You just can't do that. You're the face of the NFL. You can't be starting fights with the refs like that. But you know what? This guy's still going to be great. Everyone wants to talk about how great the AFC is. I said it from the beginning. Vince has said it as well. I don't think the AFC is that great. They just all fall. They all fall when it counts. And then you have people like Travis Kelce, an amazing tight end. Is going to go down as one of the greatest of all time in that position. And that's okay because he is one of the greatest of all time in that position. But off the field and on the field, he has a dirty personality, bad character. I don't care what anyone has to say. The truth is in the pudding right there. But like Vincent said, you don't see that with the New England Patriots. You didn't see that with Rob Gronkowski, besides a few plays here and there. You didn't see that with Tom Brady because that was a more respectable era. These guys are younger. It's a different generation. And I get it. Kelsey's a little bit older than Patrick Mahomes, but they feel like the world owes them something. They feel like they deserve more. They deserve more. They deserve more, even though that they're the face, right? But I do feel like these guys will be competing. To answer Reed's question, I do feel like these guys will be competing for a very long time, as long as this AFC stays at a standstill, because it has. You had retirement from Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck, and what did he get to replace him? You got a Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, and Andrew Luck, exact same teams, nothing really different. Now, hopefully, when Joe Burrow comes back, that could shake up that division. And hopefully, when Jim Harbaugh gets a hold of the Chargers, that could shake up that as well. And the Bills, they just need a change, but they're losing a lot of players, which I feel like they're going to go on a downslope for the following year. So, yes, Kansas City will be relevant for the next 3 years.
All right. Not So Looking Good has a really good question for us. He says, who deserves more credit, Andy or Mahomes? If I had to answer this myself, I would say definitely it's too early to call. You didn't really see who was the better person or the better overall person. I don't know what the right word is there, between Brady and Belichick until after Brady left and Brady won another Super Bowl. Belichick didn't do a whole lot. Now, I still think both of them were needed in order to win 6 Super Bowls. Now, who deserves more credit here? I'm going to always lean more towards the head coach. Yes, Mahomes is the driving, the X factor that gave Andy Reid all he needed to get there. But you saw what he did with Alex Smith, and Alex Smith, he's a good quarterback. But they were able to get, I think, all the way to AFC Championship, but just came short with Alex Smith, if I remember correctly. Patrick Mahomes was just the added X factor that was able to put them into Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. What do you guys think here?
I'm with you, Reed. I always like to side with the head coach. I think Andy Reid, of course, he has a lot more years in the NFL, a lot of success, and a lot to be like, hey, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about, the football. But then you look at Mahomes, he's a phenomenal talent. I mean, something that we haven't seen in the league ever, right? And now he's the face of the NFL. We don't see Andy Reid as a face of the NFL, and I get it. That's not normal for a coach. I get it. But I kind of heard this in a different podcast, a lot of stuff that I don't agree upon. But when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, do you think about Andy Reid? You think about Travis Kelce, or you think about Mahomes? Mainly it's Mahomes. You put Andy Reid in that mix, but I'm not going to say who deserves it more. They both deserve it equally. And like I said, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, I'm going to agree here with Reid. You got to go with the head coach. It all starts from there.
All right. right.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm in the same as y'all. I don't know what else to say. It's just Andy Reid has won Super Bowls with now multiple teams. He has more rings than Mahomes. So if we have the ring debate, even though he's not a player, this guy knows how to do it with Mahomes and without him. So that's just my opinion.
All right. Big one just says Lions turned into feral cats in the second half. I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if they just got overconfident in that second half or what, or it's just they didn't do anything different. It was just the Niners just wanting it that much more in that second half, which changed the thing. I don't know what really happened to the Lions there.
It's like what I always said about the Ravens. How do you stop the Ravens? You punch them in the mouth. You meet fire with fire and see how they respond. The Lions did it.
All right. Rave says, welcome Rave to the stream. Mahomes, if he wins, should be top 5 all-time QB, but I think he's top 3. He's only 28, too. Got at least another 5 years in his prime. Also don't like Mahomes, but you have to give him his respect. I've never ever been like the biggest Mahomes fan, but I personally have never hated him. I don't question his me personally, I don't question who he is as a person or off the field or whatever. I think he's just a regular person who is not perfect. And I also think his voice is very funny. But yeah, Mahomes is going to be at the very least in the top 5 quarterback of all time conversation. Where you want to put him in there? I know everybody wants to go recency and say Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I like to put him up there. And then you got to look back in the history. AJ's going to hear and he's going to say Joe Montana. Some people are going to say Dan Marino. There's other guys out there also that are like they played in just a different time, and the NFL was different back then. But you can't fault them also. But the all-time quarterback list is definitely getting shaken up by Mahomes right now for sure. All right, so the Chiefs did it again. We'll see if they're able to punch their ticket this year, but they're going to have to go against a very tough team in the 49ers who are looking very hungry for more after that last win. Anything else you guys want to say about the Chiefs before we move on to the Ravens?
Do you see them more as a football team or less of a football team after that win? I feel like they're more of an entertainment team now. The team that people want to see on TV rather than the team that people want to watch football from. If I'm making myself any sense towards y'all.
I'm kind of catching your drift. I think you're saying it more because of Taylor Swift.
Are they more of a trend than a football team now?
I think they're just a football team, man.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. I think they just have a lot of media around them. I think that's why AJ's thinking that, because it's always media when it comes to the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just Swift.
Betsfly says, "What do you think caused the Ravens to lose their game against the Chiefs?" Ooh, we're getting into that in a little bit. That is our next topic. Let's jump through these other comments, and we'll get right back into you, Betsfly. Caleb says, 49ers suck. Go, Pat, go. I love to hear it, Caleb. Thank you very much. We love this type of energy around here. We love this type of energy. Ray says, what the Niners to win, I think 90% of the world does. Also, the whole Niners team will get their first ring. Yeah, is there anybody on that team that has a ring already, AJ?
No. They're Shanahan's team. Very young team. Everyone, besides your Christian McCaffreys and I mean
Trent
Chase
Williams.
Young. Well, Trent Williams was Kyle Shanahan. He was with Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. So yeah, they're all his kids, dude. They're all in it together.
I don't want to show that.
Big Buddy Joe. Oh yeah, dude.
All right. Okay, so our next topic is going to go right into Betsfly's comment is, where did it go wrong for the Ravens? What do you think caused the Ravens to lose their game against the Chiefs? In my opinion, and it's quite simple, they got away from who they are. They got away from who they are. They did. Should we jump over here to?
Oh, we gotta finish this, man. We gotta finish the fight.
All right. They got away from who they are. They did not run the ball. I think there was like sits. I haven't looked at. Was it actually sits? I heard sits, but I didn't actually look at the stat. They've only rushed 6 times, and they're known as a rushing team.
Yeah, the last game when they ended up beating the Texans, of course it was inflated because they were up by a lot, but they ran the ball 31 times.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, it was 27, and before that, I believe it was like 24. So
I understand to a certain extent of changing up your game plan week to week just to keep the defense on their toes. You never want them to know, hey, we're going to run 20 times exactly or something like that. But you got to stay to who you are. You don't get all the way to the AFC Championship and decide that, oh, we're a passing team now. We're strictly passing. Yes, Lamar can. I think he can throw the ball well, and I'm not attacking Lamar here. I'm not trying not to, but you can't put it all on him just staying in the pocket, throwing the ball. It doesn't work like that. That's not how this Ravens offense thrives. You can't change that in the AFC Championship. What do you guys think?
I don't know if you want to answer first, Vince, or you want me to go.
Go ahead, AJ.
Okay, so first I want to answer your question, which is down in the ticker. It says, where did it go wrong for the Ravens? Because I do feel like there's 2 different parts here. And where I felt like it went wrong for the Ravens was when John Harbaugh for the first time in his career allowed a player to decide what the Ravens' fate was. That was by signing Lamar to that ginormous contract. That's where they went wrong. Bexfly says, what do you think caused the Ravens to lose their game against the Chiefs? We all will remember the 49ers game against the Packers in the playoffs. What the hell was out there? That wasn't the 49ers playing. That wasn't their game plan. We have Brock Purdy on, of course, I'm going to eat my words now, right? But we had Brock Purdy on design QB runs. Still, no, there's no design QB runs for Brock Purdy. He's a scrambler. He's a guy that extends plays. He's a playmaker. He's the best game manager in the league. That's who he is, right? But let's not make something who he's not. And that's what the Ravens did. They lost who they were. They weren't playing. It's just like Dan Campbell, right? Everyone will be talking about Dan Campbell differently if they still lost this game. Well, why didn't he go for it on 4th down? That's who he is. Why wasn't he playing aggressive? You don't change your ways just because it's a big game in the playoffs. That's exactly what the Ravens do. They changed their ways because why? They wanted to play it safe. They wanted to play what their weaknesses were against the Kansas City. And that didn't work out for them because why? That's not who they are. That's what happened. They got away from who they are.
All right. Vince?
Not bad. I mean, I feel like this one's to blame on the offensive coordinator quite a bit, as well as the head coach. I think that's just how it rolls. But their OC, Todd Monken, I'm reading it there because I didn't know what the heck this guy's name was. I know who Mike McDonald is because we're interviewing for the head coaching job for Seattle. But Todd Monken, like, I don't know who gave him the green light to just switch up their entire offense. He saw it out there. It wasn't the Baltimore Ravens that we've seen before. And of course, we know that the Baltimore Ravens don't have the best wide receiver core. Everybody's always giving the debate, is Lamar a good passer in the league? Is he a better runner? Is like, it always comes up. But here's also the thing. I don't think Lamar Jackson calls the plays. He can audible out of them, but why in your right mind would you audible out of a run play unless, of course, you know that it's going to go bad? But even then, I didn't really see Lamar Jackson going out there doing audibles every single play. So I kind of have to blame half of this at least on Todd Monken in the offensive coordinator position, as well as half on the team because, you know, the team has to play and execute, and they just didn't this game. But I don't know. I think it went wrong in multiple ways. Of course, running the ball only 6 times, you can't win like that. I don't care if it's against the worst team in the league. The Panthers have won a few games because teams just play sloppy and they don't play their own football. So I think that's just how it happened, you know? Sloppy play, bad coaching, and bad execution. Those are the top 3 things, and I think everybody's just inflating all the other media drama to show why the Chiefs are, a good team.
All right. Big Money Joe says Lamar can't throw. You forced Lamar to beat you with his arm. I feel like they didn't even force him. They just decided we're gonna beat you with Lamar's arm. They didn't even force him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They just said we don't want to run the ball. Run the ball. What's that? We don't do that. That's what they said. Wild. Not so looking good says the Ravens aren't mentally ready for these huge games. Mahomes has been here before, and it showed that experience also matters. That entire Chiefs team has been there before. Except for a few guys, all of them were at the Super Bowl last year and won it. They're experienced. They know that type of atmosphere, and they were ready to play in it. The Ravens were not. They were not up to the moment. They were not ready. Caleb says referees suck horrible during the Ravens and Chiefs game. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was as horrible, in my opinion, as a lot of people are saying. Obviously, it was one-sided. We kind of knew it was going to be one-sided. But I have my next question for you guys. What did you guys think of that Zay Flowers drive?
Zay Flowers is a beast, dude.
He is a beast.
Zay Flowers is a beast. But, dude, he's a rookie. You're going to allow a rookie to carry you to the Super Bowl? That doesn't happen. It's just not normal, right? Nope. And that's just a lot of pressure on him. And if it wasn't for that fumble in the end zone, everyone would have said, it's possible now. It's possible. But it's hard whenever you're like, hey, let's get the best wide receiver that ever lived in the game with OBJ. He's going to change our game dramatically. And does nothing. But he's the one that has the loudest mouth. He does nothing, right? You can't play these players. You can't pay these players not to do anything. You can't pay these players as a quarterback if they just want to be a running back. If they can't throw the ball, they can't make quarterback decisions. That's where they went wrong. That's where the Ravens went wrong.
Yeah, there's 3 mistakes that Zay Flowers made there. One, the taunting, which I don't love that it's taunting, and I don't love that it's a flag. I wish that it's a passionate game. I feel like players should be able to be passionate on the field. I don't think the thing I think they really got him in trouble was he flipped the ball and it hit the player. The standing over, yes, technically that is a taunting, but I understand that the ball flip. But at the end of the day, I still don't like it in the field at that as a flag. And then he made the mistake of not looking at the ball and going for a block for some reason on a few plays later. And then obviously the mistake of he was trying to make a football play. He was trying to make a play for his team, but you got to protect the ball. He didn't protect the ball there, and it caused a fumble right on the 1-yard line, went into the end zone as a touchback, and you lose possession there. 3 mistakes in one drive. But also at the same time, the only reason that drive was alive was because of Zay Flowers. Pretty crazy. Vincent, any thoughts?
Nah, man, it's all there in the pudding. You can't, as AJ said, you can't let a rookie, make all the plays, but especially on an entire drive without making a mistake, that's something that a seasoned vet will do. They'll know to get down. They'll know if they get at the 1, they're most likely going to score. I know he made that diving attempt to get into the touchdown, so kudos to him, but it was just a good play. I believe it was by Snead. I think it was number 38. So if it's not Snead, I don't know who it is, but yeah, it's just a good play. So football is football. As someone said down here in a comment, it says, shit happens in the NFL. So.
Yeah. Big Money Joe says Swift paid the refs. Ooh.
The rest are Swifties.
Uh-oh. Flyers made a rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake, but unfortunately it's the highest. So it's the biggest game, Rookie in Madden, haha. Poop happens in the NFL. Look at the catch by Ayuk. Poop happens. That's very true. And then Big Money comes in with an apology video. He says, my apologies to Caleb. Sorry, just don't like all the hate that we've been getting. But as a diehard fan, I get it. My apologies again.
Wow, big money. Those anger management dudes coming in handy, bro. It's coming in handy. Look at you, man. Changed
He's a
man.
changed man.
Changed man.
Who is
Hell
this
yeah.
guy?
Remember the pew pew days?
Pew pew
Pew pew.
pew.
Yeah, now he's a changed man. New guy.
More of a knife guy now.
And Caleb sets your apologies. Heck yeah. NSP Nation, baby. All right. Next question. And I want to hear from Big Money Joe on this one. Definitely. Is Brock Purdy the best game manager ever? And I asked that question because that's what the Niners players are saying, because they're tired of all the media bullcrap they've been hearing all year long, even up to last year when he was a rookie. Why do the media hate Brock Purdy so much and consistently call him a game manager, and up to the point where the players have to make fun of it and say, oh, he's a game manager? Well, he's the greatest game manager ever then. AJ, I pass the mic off to you as our NSP host, who's a humongous, ginormous Niners fan. How are you feeling about Brock Purdy after this game?
I feel great, dude. I love that he's the quarterback for the Niners. I love that he's a franchise quarterback. And I love that he's the quarterback that I root for, man. I mean, if you heard him in the post conference, he said that he prayed about it. He let it all on God, man. Well, whatever happened in that game, that's all on God's will. And he's going to live with that. He's going to abide by it. He's going to grow from it. And fortunate enough for him, he said that they won the game. And he's very blessed to be there, which I love, man. I love. Then you hear all these players backing him up. And someone said in the press conference, that, hey, what does Purdy sound like in the locker room? What does Purdy sound like whenever he talks to players? Because we've seen Purdy get after players, get mad at each other, but take leadership. And he says that Purdy is the one who studies the hardest. This is Kyle Juszczyk, by the way. Purdy is the one who studies the hardest, stays there after every meeting. And every time he talks with the team, he says that he is there for them and not to let them down, because they work so darn hard, and he does not want to be the reason why they don't succeed. That's why he does his best, is so his team can succeed. The team can succeed, not him being able to say that his second year in the freaking NFL, he's going to the playoffs 2 years in a row where he's going to the national championship. Not because of that, but because these guys have earned it and they work hard. I'm going to read off some stats real quick that I saw today. In the second half of the 49ers game against the Lions, Purdy threw for 150-plus yards, rushed for 45-plus yards, completed 80% of his passes, averaged 10-plus yards per rush, and had 0 turnovers. You know who else did that in the NFL? No one. No one has ever done that in the NFL before. But people are still going to find a way to hate on this guy because he was the last pick in the draft. Because this is a real story, a story of a real humble kid and nothing else. That's it. And I hated watching the game because, of course, Greg Olsen is like, oh, that's a great run, but that's not a Lamar Jackson run. No, but he's not playing like Lamar Jackson, right? Because he's winning this game. He's playing as a quarterback, not as a running back, and he's able to do it. He's able to do whatever it takes, not just to win the game, but to help his team get there. And that's something that we never got from Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is not a shot to them, right? This is something that we didn't get to see from Trey Lance. This is something we never got in a quarterback since the Kyle Shanahan era. This is incredible what this guy is doing. And they hate it because it's real. It is real. You can't make this up. Everything about him is legit. His parents own a jacuzzi store. That's who they are. They're not all pro track stars, this, and that. He's just an average Joe who's making it happen. Oh, man.
Very well said, AJ. We're going to jump into the comments real quick. Big Money Joe, one of our biggest Niners fans on this podcast, says, best game manager, yes. Elite quarterback, not yet, he says. 2 games with 5 passes that should have been intercepted, but only 1 got picked. I love his scrambling ability. Reminds me of Garcia. Caleb says he's a good quarterback. I hate to say this, but I'm going for the 49ers. I don't like the Chiefs. They act like the Cowboys, but that's my opinion. We respect your opinion here, Caleb. Big One Joe says Purdy has some crazy stats, though. I feel like the reason why so many, even like myself, doesn't want to put him in the elite category yet, it's just because he's so young and it's just such a small pool. But I'm also like, hey, like if he's playing elite now, he's elite. Biggie says, I've never seen AJ this happy.
You're gonna see it for a few more days, dude. Getting dialed in. We're dialed in.
And it all depends on how the Super Bowl goes for the whole offseason.
Yep.
Not so looking good. Says Big Chicken Brock is just that guy. He has ice in his veins. He has ice cubes in his veins, guys. Real talk though, Brock understands he doesn't need to be flashy, but we saw that when we kind of needed him to be flashy, he did it. He learns and grows every game he plays. Bad games also help him grow because he learns from his mistakes. Very well said from Not So Looking Good, another big Niners fan in the chat. Big Money Joe says Purdy also has crazy weapons. He does have crazy weapons, but I don't think you should take that away from him. In my opinion, both Debo and Ayuk are great receivers, great options, but I don't put them as like the top. Like I don't even put them in either one of them like my top 10 receivers. They're good, but they're not like the greatest of the greats right now in the NFL. George Kittle, obviously one of the best tight ends in the league. Right, I think this past season I would put him as the best tight end in the league. And then CMC, obviously the best weapon in the whole NFL. But as far as his wide receivers go, which he consistently moves the ball with, they're not the greatest of the greats. They're great role weapons that Shanahan knows how to use well, and Purdy knows how to get the ball to him.
Yeah, there's many different ways you could go about this. I was thinking about this the other day, and let's say we lost Deebo Samuel, right? That year of his contract. Let's say he went to let's just name another team. Let's say the Tennessee Titans. Let's say the Cincinnati Bengals. Would Deebo Samuel be Deebo Samuel? Or does that work perfectly in a Kyle Shanahan system? When Deebo Samuel was drafted, he was drafted before DK Metcalf, and I thought DK Metcalf was a way better receiver. But Deebo Samuel just fits in that system. Brandon Ayuk, one of the best wide receiver blockers in the league, fits perfectly in that system. Like you said, Reed, I think the only two like all-star elite guys, you got George Kittle and you got CMC. Look at Brock Purdy's offensive line. I love those guys, but those guys ain't it. I love Trent Williams. That guy, he's him.
He's
him.
Yep.
Aaron Banks has fallen off the face of the earth ever since he got turf toe. Feliciano had 2 back-to-back horrid games. Didn't like that very much. Some people might disagree with me. But, like, we need to work on offensive line. Jared Goff had 5 seconds in the pocket. Brock Purdy had a second and a half. I mean, how do you do that? But
yeah.
Nice. I can't believe you guys are forgetting about Juice, though. Juice is the best fullback.
Oh, Juice had such a great game. He had such a great game.
Best fullback.
Tap.
Oh,
God.
He had like a 20-yard catch, and then he had that toe tap grab. He looks like a veteran wide receiver out there, better than some of these rookie wide receivers out there.
Did you see what he tweeted?
It was about the Purdy, right?
He said it's amazing how he managed to find me. And it's crazy because I was watching that play and I was like, just throw the ball away, because he got out of the pocket and he throws the ball. All of a sudden the ball stops and it's in Juice's hands. I'm like, where did he come from? Like, holy crap.
I was like, why is it that far downfield? Why isn't he like blocking back there or something?
And people forget about Juice because who's going to cover a fullback? It happened
that
twice
far
in that
downfield.
game. Halfway downfield. Dude, this guy is the greatest fullback of all time. There's a lot of great fullbacks out there, but with this dying breed, he is the greatest. He's the greatest.
He's very good. He's very, very good. Going to a hate comment here. Big E is the problem in the media right now.
Oh, gosh.
He says, hear me out. You put almost any quarterback on the 49ers, they win. He says, put Mac Jones out there. Mac Jones can run that offense.
Here you go, AJ. I'll back you up here. Because it does get ridiculous. And I understand why AJ gets mad when this happens. But there's always scapegoats in the NFL. And Brock Purdy is one of them. Lamar Jackson is one of them. Yes, sometimes these guys have bad games, but I think who was it? I think it's Not So Looking Good. He says that these guys grow from their mistakes, and I think Brock Purdy is one of the best quarterbacks who learns from his mistakes, because rarely do you ever see him make a similar mistake. Yes, he throws interceptions here and there. Yes, sometimes he will have a fumble here and there, but he's not a robot. He's not the perfect Messiah quarterback that everybody is expecting from Mr. Irrelevant, because that would make the story so much better. And that's how much the media loves to twist it, because they're like, oh, if this guy's Mr. Irrelevant, but he's really good, he should be the best thing since sliced bread. And that's just not it. You can't ask that from a quarterback who's only in his second year. And when the first time he started was last year near the playoffs, towards the end of the season, and he just played phenomenally. So this guy still only has like 1.5 years on his track record. And I just think people are still trying to pick him apart because they want to follow guys like Mahomes, who they know are for sure solidified already in the top, as people said earlier, top 5 QBs of all time. It's just easier to, I'm sorry to say it, but, to guzzle down on those guys, because it's just easier on the media person to make a story out of someone who already has so many stories about him. Not so much what you see big top guys in the media talk about guys who are emerging, because usually when they do that, half the time it's wrong. So they don't want to take the chance anymore in the media. They don't want to get fired. It's just how it goes. And I think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. I agree with Reed, though. He's not elite yet, but he's moving up in that category. He's moving up there.
I didn't say that.
I mean, it's true, right? It's true. He's a great quarterback, but is he elite? I don't think anyone would say he's elite. Does he have the potential to be? Yeah, only playing in the league for a year and a half. I could just imagine what he's gonna look like 2 years from now if he stays healthy and underneath that system, what he can learn. But hey, Big E, I encourage you to watch the Pat McAfee show from today. There is a public apologies going across the board for what people said, and they pulled receipts. They pulled receipts of what people were saying about Brock Purdy, how you could put anyone in there in that backfield and they'll do just as good, even better. They even said, cringe every time I think about it. They even said, put Mac Jones in there and he's going to look elite. There is a public apology from a lot of people, including Adam Schefter.
All right.
Don't give me that.
Big Money Justice, the guy in the morning news, called the fluke to Ayuk. I died laughing, but I'll take it all day. That, hey, call it a fluke, call it whatever you want. There's chances like that in every single game, and the 49ers took advantage of those chances, and that's how you win games. Caleb says it's like Love from the Packers. He reminds me of Love. Learns every week. Look what happened to the Pack. Beat the Cowgirls, and the Packers were the underdog. Love and Purdy are the same, and they are just young, but give them a couple of years and they will become elite. Both guys haven't had a large sample of what they can do for long term, but they've done great things. They're learning every game. They're looking really good. Both can be some of the best quarterbacks for years and years to come, definitely. Not so looking good says people who say Kittle plays like trash don't watch the games. Kittle's a great blocker. Kittle was the guy early on in his career because we needed a guy who can catch and run. The Niners have built a team with great catchers all around, so Kittle doesn't need all those yards to be seen as a great tight end. Kittle's one of the best role players out there. Whatever is needed of him, every single game he'll do, and he'll do it to the most excellent level possible. You block all game.
Hutchinson?
What was that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see him pancake Hutchinson?
I didn't see the pancake, but I don't doubt it.
Dude, he comes up laughing and talking to him. It was just
he could do it. Talker.
He does it. Hutchinson's their best pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, come on.
Biggie, that's Cap. We saw that already.
Probably talk about Jimmy G and Trey Lance.
Yeah. Need a picture of the Juice catch. Juice stretched out for that catch. He went full stand for that catch. Put his whole body on his line. I say almost.
Yeah, I know how to go about this. Right, I saw this today in the Pat McAfee show. Biggie, when you say almost, who would you put in there as your lowest guy possible to be very successful, to be better than Purdy on that offense? Who is that guy? And then we'll go from there.
All right. Kittle killed Hutch. Embarrassing. Man, Kittle can suck some. Because he lost his bet because of Kittle. He didn't get enough yards. He took the over in Kittle for like
Oh,
58
you
yards.
did? Oh,
He
wow,
did.
man.
I would have told if he would have told us, I would have been like, "Hey, take the under." He had a big game last week. I don't think he gets it back to back. Caleb says, "Don't say Prescott, Big E."
Biggie is a Cardinals fan, so I'm expecting some wild talk right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, imagine if he says Kyler Murray. Imagine.
You cannot put him in that system.
Oh my
All
God.
right. As we wait for Big E's response, Vincent, I have a question for you. As
Good.
our Seahawks fan on this podcast, how do you feel looking over at your division and looking at the 49ers, knowing that they think, I don't know what you think, you've defended Purdy a lot on this show, but they have a guy for the future. How are you feeling as a Seahawks fan, knowing that you're going to have to go against this guy for most likely a long time? How are you feeling?
I mean, it was the same thing with Jimmy G. It was the same thing with Kaepernick when he was the next best thing. I don't say that I'm scared. I'm kind of happy because it makes the rivalry a lot stronger. And the day that we end up beating the Niners is going to be a great day. I don't think it's going to happen this next season because we still don't know what's going to happen with our coaching position there. We don't know what's going to happen with the QB position. We don't know what's going to happen in the draft yet. We don't have as many picks as the Niners do or a lot of other teams. So we're still up in the air. I feel like this time now is a rebuilding area for us. We have a lot of talent, but we still need a coach to develop that talent. Just because Pete Carroll is gone now doesn't mean that it stops here. It's going to have to be a similar philosophy to keep these guys all in the locker room and keep everybody together, but it just has to be a different coaching style. I think the coach has to be the guy to rule the locker room there, and we have to find out who the next two captains on the defensive side and offensive side are going to be, because Bobby Wagner won't be there forever. I say he has 1 or 2 more years after this. Geno Smith, who knows if his future is there in Seattle anymore. And I don't see anybody else on those two sides of the ball who can rally these guys like they have been doing for a while. So I don't say I'm scared, but it's definitely going to be good matchups for the next 5 to 10 years, depending on how long Purdy lasts, as well as the team around him. So we'll see.
All right. Big Money Joe has a question for us. He says, "Do you think Dobbs would be as good as Purdy? He has some streaks of good games." My thoughts on Dobbs is, at the very least, like his floor for the league, I think he's going to be a great backup for a lot of teams. I think he can come into a lot of different situations and play really, really well. I believe he was in the preseason with the Browns and then bounced to the Cardinals, played for them multiple weeks, and then got traded to the Vikings, and then played like 2 or 3 games, had that awesome first game, and then it went downhill from there. I don't think Dobbs is on Purdy's level, to answer your main question. We've seen Dobbs. I think he's good. I think there's a lot of upside there. I'd love to see him in a system for more than just a few weeks and let him really learn and develop and actually really take advantage of what his assets are and etc. But we've seen him have good threats and options to go to, good weapons, like how Purdy has good weapons. He was throwing, when he went to the Vikings, he was throwing to Jefferson. He was throwing to Addison, who's already a great rookie in this league. They have a lot of options there on the Vikings, and he didn't play up to what they thought he was going to be able to play to, and he ended up getting benched. So I don't think Dobbs, to answer your main question, he's not as good as Purdy. But I am excited to see where Dobbs ends up this next year, and I think he could be a in-between guy. I don't think he's going to be like an elite quarterback, like a franchise guy, but he could bridge your gap. He might be what are those names of those guys that Tyrod Taylor, your
Bridge quarterbacks.
Yeah, your Tyrod Taylor. What's the other quarterback?
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett, that's the name I was looking for. Thank you for reading my mind, AJ. He's going to be one of those guys, I think, that could be the bridge until you find the next guy. But I could definitely see him in I'm switching over. I thought AJ was a gothic girl for a second. What
Are
is
you attracted to me?
Jeez.
Me
A
and your
goth girl?
gothic girl beard.
AJ wearing those
Yeah.
sunglasses?
Oh God, Caleb's getting heated.
Do you guys agree with me what I'm saying about Dobbs here?
Oh yeah, I mean Dobbs had many opportunities here in the NFL in many different teams. I know you mentioned the Browns, but he spent most of his time this season with the Cardinals, which we saw a lot of great spurts, right? But a lot of times he just couldn't finish the game. And we saw him go to the Minnesota Vikings. I said, okay, this is it. This is his time to shine. This is his time to find a good career path because he has Justin Jefferson, he had Addison, he had a decent defense, a great running back, and what did he do with it? One amazing first game. Come back, awesome, cool. And then he loses his job to Nick Mullins. But I think it will be a solid backup going into the season. I think he's in between a CJ Beathard and a Nick Mullins. And I don't know if I can even say that because Nick Mullins beat him out to that job. So, you know, he had his opportunity and he missed out. He missed out.
Yeah,
sure.
I think his shot is done now. There's going to be a lot more quarterbacks coming out of this draft and the next draft, I would assume, depending on who wants to declare next year. But these guys just tend to get overshadowed, and they'll end up being a secondary type quarterback where they only get their shot maybe once every 2 or 3 years. So he's going to have to wait again, and it's sad to say, but yeah, some talent just slips through the cracks, you know?
Yeah. I definitely think he's going to be a backup for years to come. I would want him as my backup if I could get him. Not so looking good says the NFC West is actually pretty good. They help each other out. They help each other because, as you saw, how they destroyed the NFC East. I don't know the exact wins and losses, but I'm sure we won way more than they beat us. And by us, I mean our little division.
Yeah, I think it was the Niners, Seahawks almost beat them, but the Cardinals did too. So for sure we're 2-2 in that respect. But I don't know the rest of the NFC East. I don't think we played every single team this year, but we may have. I don't remember.
NFC West is always going to be solid. Always. They're always going to have 3 teams out of that division. It's going to be solid.
All right. Big Money Joe says AJ looks like a NASCAR driver with those shades.
Shake and bake, baby. I woke up piston excellence.
I'm back now to say my thoughts, says Big E, and says also, yes, I would say Dak, he is better than Purdy RN.
And that Rock meme where, you know, you're just like looking like, seriously, dude, like how many times do the Niners have to go up against the Cowboys to show who the better quarterback is? When you compare these two offenses, right? You take away the head coach because there's a huge dramatic change as far as difference in the head coach. But you look at these two offenses, right? You got Brock Purdy in one hand, you got Dak Prescott. Who are the weapons? You have Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb, right? You also have, what are we laughing over here?
I think he just called you a girl.
Me?
Yeah, I think you.
So.
Am I a big, sexy truck driver that you're attracted to? Don't even go there, Caleb. I'm ready for you, dog. I'm ready for you. But look at these weapons, right? If we talk about the beginning of the season without watching what we did watch this past season, you would compare CMC with Tony Pollard. I know people would. People will compare CMC with Tony Pollard without watching this past season, coming into this season. They're very similar offenses. And some people may say that Cowboys have a better defense. They were ranked better than the Niners. That's for damn sure. Because everyone wants to be on Michael Parsons. You know what? The glizzy gobbler, right? So why is Dak Prescott not as successful as Brock Purdy? Why is it? Because he doesn't fold under pressure? Because you got to have confidence as a quarterback. And whenever it happens in the playoffs, I'm sorry, this is not a coincidence anymore. He continues to fold in the playoffs every single time. It just seems like he's not built for the big game. Regular season, he's unbelievable. MVP candidate, yes. As soon as he hits the playoffs, that's when the piss hits his pants. That's what happens. He folds. And Brock Purdy, down these 2 playoffs games and able to come back, BCB, he's confident. And that's the difference. That's what you need in a quarterback. You need confidence, you need smarts, and you need just enough talent.
All right. Apparently, he was calling Biggie a cowgirl, I think.
Oh.
So
I'm sorry, Caleb. I take back what I said. I take back my statement.
jeez. Not so looking good says Dak needs to wake up from these sleeping commercials. Does he do what sleeping commercials does he do?
The sleep number.
Yeah,
Oh, he
the
does?
mattress
Yeah.
thing.
He's been doing it for years now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, it's so shocking. I know we're not going to get into it, right? But
okay.
it's just so shocking that both Cowboys and the Eagles make no difference, no changes. Especially more the Cowboys than the Eagles, but no changes whatsoever. Shocking to me.
All right. We're going to move on from the Niners. I think we've talked all we possibly can about them. And we're going to move on to the other side of that game. And my question for the group is, can the Lions ever make it back here? Making it back no matter what is the – okay, so this is disrespectful. I had to stop. I had to stop where we were going. The lowest I will go is Sam Howell. Also, F the Cowboys, he says. But he says Sam Howell could replace Brock Purdy and play better.
We're going to open up NSP school, okay? So people can learn about football and how players are. We're going to open up. We're going to go through film. We're going to watch all this. But, dude, I love Sam Howell. I'm probably the biggest Sam Howell fan out of all three of us. But he's not on that level. He's not on that level. He has more experience than Brock Purdy. He's not close to that.
He says also, I'm rooting for Anna Frey. I don't know what that means.
That I looked it up. That's the girl that they use in that meme that looks like Brock Purdy.
What?
She's a TikTok sensation now because she looks exactly like Brock Purdy.
There's no way.
Yeah, look it up. It's like those little what do they call it? Like the face over things, like to make yourself look like a girl. And this is exactly what Brock Purdy would look like as a girl. So you'll see it, AJ.
There's so many different pictures. I don't know who's real.
Okay. All right, so the Lions, they were able to make it to the NFC Championship. They have improved every single year under Dan Campbell. But my question, and we all know it's hard to get to the tippy top. It is very, very difficult. Just because you did it once doesn't mean you're going to be back the next year. AJ's checking somebody out right now, apparently. But
that's crazy.
It's so crazy, right?
I think I've seen it before.
Oh my
sure
gosh.
All right. Crazy. So if I could finish my monologue.
So I just laughed. That's sorry.
God. All right. So this year, this offseason, they are going.
I just said that was crazy.
This is how I feel on bats. When you guys are messing around the back.
I think she's underage, so be careful.
What did I say? I just said that was crazy how she looks like him.
Put him up!
No, don't do it.
All right. So the Lions, as I finish my monologue here, they're going to lose Ben Johnson, most likely. Ben Johnson is most likely going to be the head coach of either the Commanders or the Seahawks. I would be very surprised if he is not. Both of them have interviewed a multitude of head coaches, but I think it's a foregone conclusion. Ben Johnson is going to get one of those two positions, and he might even be able to pick between the two. But they're going to lose him. They're about to sign Goff to a long-term contract worth a lot of money. Now, I'm not the biggest Goff hater, but I got two Goff haters here. And I don't think we really think that Goff is going to be worth all that money. And then you have to look at other pieces. Amon St. Brown, he's just exiting his third year of his rookie deal. He has earned almost nothing on his contract, and he's going to want an extension. He's going into his fourth year in the league, and this will be the first time in his contract that he'll earn $1 million in a single season. He has not been paid a lot. He got drafted in the 4th, 5th round. He has not earned a whole lot of money. And he's going to be looking for a big contract worth about $20+ million. It's looking like for Amon St. Brown as one of the best wide receivers. And there's a lot of other pieces that they had to fix on this team in order to make it back there. Can Dan Campbell, without Ben Johnson, has to hire a new offensive coordinator, get the Lions back here to this spot, to the NFC Championship, and see if they can go to get another crack at a Super Bowl? I think it's a big ask. I think it's definitely possible. I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I think that this might be the highest that the Lions will get. And I'm saying this as a Packer fan, so I'm biased. So I'm going to turn the mic over to my two co-hosts and see what they think.
You want to go first, AJ, or you want me to do it?
Go, Vince.
Me? Okay. I don't like Goff. I think he's good, but I don't think he's a long-term type of quarterback. Yes, he's gotten better every single season here, but he's also had very, very good coaching here in Detroit. So that's with MCDC, that's with Ben Johnson. I mean, after that crumbles, what is the offense going to look like? Is Jared Goff going to have a say in trying to keep this offense similar? Who's going to leave? How long can they keep that O-line together? Because the O-line is the biggest part of Jared Goff's success here, because when he was with the Rams, did not have a good line, and you saw how he played there with the Rams. So that's all I'll say here about Jared Goff. But the only reason I think that they can make it back here, maybe not next year, but maybe the year after that, is I think they need to draft some more receivers. We saw the issues with Josh Reynolds. He dropped 2 big passes that could have, changed or altered the game, maybe even in the slightest, to get them closer, or maybe an opportunity to score a touchdown. But sometimes it just works out like that. Josh Reynolds had him in the breadbasket, and he dropped both. I think they need a more reliable resource there at wide receiver, because really they only have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know a couple other guys are injured, and we see the flashes there from Williams, but he's not as reliable as they want him to be yet. He's still developing. And so I think they need someone else to develop there too at the wide receiver position, because Laporta, who knows, maybe this is the only year he's going to be good. He could have a sophomore slump. He could get injured. We don't know. We don't wish it upon him. But what if Laporta can't get back here? What if Gibbs can't get back to this level? What if, what's his name? Their other running back, Monty. What if this is his best year ever and he decides to slump like he did with the Bears? They just had everything pieced together perfectly this year, and I think it's going to be very hard to replicate that. So I think they really need to hit this draft hard, especially since it's in their hometown. They're in Detroit, and they need to get some guys out there who can help them keep this level of offensive play, because I'm not too sure if they're as defensive minded as they want to be, but I just don't think they can get better on defense as quickly as they can to keep their offense the same.
Go ahead, AJ.
I was very disappointed in you, Reed. You talk about a lot of success about Jared Goff, but not once did you mention the offensive line. I'm very glad Vincent did. That was a big surprise.
I talked about it in the live. I said they were manhandling your Niners defensive line.
Well, Nick Bosa had 2 sacks and almost had a third.
Nick Bosa had a great game. He had a great game, but everybody else on that line was not looking good.
But it's only possible because of everyone else on that line. It's not just because of Nick Bosa. So I am going to give credit to the offensive line, not so much credit to Jared Goff. Okay, yeah, I think Jared Goff is a decent guy. Will he be the downfall of the Lions? He could be if they do sign him to a big-time contract. He's got a lot of young guys out there. Like you mentioned, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It is one of the best wide receivers in the league. You got to pay him. And then you have other young guys like offensive lineman Penei Sewell. A lot of people don't pay attention to him, but he was a top 10 pick.
Yep.
And he's well worth it. This guy is out there. He's making people you know what I want to say, right? But this guy is a dog, and he's a difference maker of that O-line. So are a lot of other people on that O-line. But now they also got to look into paying some rookies, right? Let's look at Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's look at Sam Laporta. Let's look at Campbell, Aiden Hutchinson. Those are big-time players. They're all rookies. all big time players, all rookies, they're going to have to get paid at some point. You sign Jared Goff to a long-term contract with some big money, you're going to say bye to maybe more than one. So, yeah, I do feel like it is possible for them to make it again. Would it be difficult? Hell yeah, because you got teams like the Packers, like the Niners, and who knows what Seattle's going to do with their head coach. Who knows that they're going to keep Geno Smith or invest into a very, very handsome-looking young quarterback out there who plays very well. But it's going to be extremely tough for them, especially with that. No, you don't think so?
No, not that guy. He's not coming over here.
I was talking about Penix.
Penis?
Oh,
You can't say that we can't say things on this live, and you're talking about stuff like that over there, Reed.
I said his name. What are you talking about?
Penix.
Penis?
You see?
Ah, gosh.
Hypocrite. Here we go. But yes, Lions can make it. It's going to be extremely difficult for them, but the goal is to not sign Goff into a long-term contract. Pay him as much money as you want. Pay him the max for the next 2 years, 3 years max. But that's all you can do in order to be successful in the future. Draft a quarterback this draft, not early, mid to late round, and help develop him. That's your hope.
All right, let's get to these comments. That's looking good. It says, "Hey, yo," to AJ. I don't hate Goff, but he has a punchable face. All right.
True.
I guess. He says, "Did you guys see there's people saying Kelsey might propose to Swift at the Super Bowl? That's poop. It's not happening."
Kansas City's a trend. They're not a football team anymore.
I don't know where you're getting the trend from, but if this does happen, I will say their love is not real. It has been all a sham, and it's all been a big media scheme.
That's a trend. That's literally a trend right there, Reed. What do you mean you don't know where it's coming from? You just said it.
You're a football team, AJ.
We're talking about Kelsey proposing in the Super Bowl. That's the topic right now. It's a trend.
They're a football team.
Okay.
Goff was throwing some horrible passes, says Big Money Joe, straight wobblers. Wobbling. Becky says, "I think Tua is overrated. I'd rather have Purdy." This guy's all over the place.
So you'd rather have Sam Howell over Purdy, but you'd rather have Purdy over Tua.
So he's putting Sam Howell over Tua.
And you add Purdy.
Oh,
I can just imagine where he ranks Kyler Murray. Just imagine.
Is Kyler Murray a top 5 quarterback?
I want to see his QB rankings.
Yeah,
Give
drop
us
some
a
QB
top
rankings.
5 or top 10, whichever one you feel comfortable.
Yeah, whichever one you can type out.
Give us a top 10, and then wherever you place Purdy, you tell us there too.
And also looking good says if they beat us and he proposes to Taylor, I might just jump off the. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not so looking good.
I'll spot you. I'll
You
record
just
it.
Make sure you just update your profile picture because
No,
you gotta have a different view.
Do a flip.
Guys, we can't say things like that.
I'm going right after him, so someone has to record. For the views. It's for the views.
Take the selfie stick, AJ.
We'll hold you
We're
back.
not the Pro Football Talk merch.
Me and Vincent will hold you guys back, right, Vincent?
It's gonna be like that meme of the guy like, oh,
with the bleach.
oh. Exactly.
Jeez. All right, so my second question for you guys about the Lions. Do we put it on Dan Campbell and his play? I know we kind of talked about this yesterday, but I'll bring it up again now that we've had some time to digest it. Do we blame Dan Campbell for the loss of his 4th down decisions about going forward on 4th down and trying to keep the ball in their hands, get more points?
Here's my
okay, go ahead.
Here's my explicit version. Do you blame a baby for taking a crap in his pamper?
No,
because that's what babies do every single day all year, and that's exactly what Dan Campbell did.
I like this guy.
You cannot expect Dan Campbell to just grow up and progress to wearing big boy undies in less than a year. I mean,
so in this, is this just another analogy, or are you saying Dan Campbell is a baby?
Saying that he's progressing as a head coach. He's growing.
All
He's
right.
still growing. You can't expect him to flip his philosophy without learning how it crumbles. I'm not saying his philosophy is the greatest philosophy. I think it's quite, I would say, rudimentary. But I love that he has the type of cojones and the trust in his guys to go and get it done. But let's get this. I want to read this off.
Okay, so he says not in an order here. He says Mahomes, CJ, Lamar, Goff, Allen, Dak, Stafford, Baker, Joe, Herbert.
Stafford.
Stafford, I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with CJ.
Is he talking about Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow
He's got to be.
Yeah,
Burrow,
it has to be
right?
Burrow. It has to be Burrow.
Okay.
So if you're putting Joe Burrow in there, why isn't Aaron Rodgers in there?
Why is Baker here?
Baker's in there? Baker?
Yes.
Baker. I would, yeah. I mean, Baker might be creeping in there, but I don't know.
I think I'd personally, I don't know. I was gonna say something crazy. I was gonna say I think I'd personally rank Geno over Baker.
So, in my opinion, I'm kicking Baker and
I think
probably Goff out of here. And I'll put Purdy and Love in there personally.
I think this is like something that you guys might not agree with, but I don't think Joe Burrow is in my top 10. Not right now.
Are you saying, like I said, he's a system quarterback?
I just think that he had a really bad year. Do I think he'd come back from it? Yeah, but they just had a lot of stuff going on over there in Cincy, and it wasn't helping. But I think that's just the type of thing that happens when you don't have a line for the 2 years that you've been in the NFL. So, but yeah, I would say I'd take out Joe Burrow, maybe take out Baker. I think he might slide in, and I think Goff would round out my top 10. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Not so looking good says, imagine calling him a baby to his face. He might strangle everyone around him. I don't think he's a serial killer.
Yeah, he's not like that.
Yeah, but come on, man. Come on, man. That's how he sounds.
I was expecting him to cry in the press conference because how emotional he gets, which I respect. I respect the hell out of MCDC.
Yeah, I think MCDC is a real man for sure. So he's with the times. But yeah, back to my analogy. I think he's a good coach, but he still needs to learn the ins and outs of the NFL. You can think that you have the best team, the best offense, the best defense to go out there. Well, I think more of the offense. I think thinks he has the best offense because he trusts them to go on 4th down, 4th and 4, shoot even 4th and 6 if it's that dire in need there. But so I think it's good that Dan Campbell has this type of tenacity right now, but I think he'll need to learn a little bit in these types of big games. Sometimes you just got to take points, and you as a head coach, you have to gamble with when you want to do that, and it's not always 100% going for it. So he'll learn though.
All right. Bar says Niners Super Bowl winners, and Big E says Vince. Oh yeah, we are going to frame this if the Niners lose. So Vince,
don't worry.
Vince agrees. Maybe replace Joe with Rodgers, but saw a 10-second highlight from him this year. I don't think we can put Rodgers in there at this point in his career if we're talking about quarterbacks right now.
Then you can't put Joe Burrow in there.
Mm-mm.
We've seen. Okay, whatever.
What?
We're moving on. This question isn't relevant at all, but who's the one player that has a voice that just doesn't match the person? Because, not going to lie, Bosa and Mahomes are mad funny.
Bosa? I think Bosa matches him perfectly. I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't think Bosa.
I mean, I can't talk. My voice is high too, but Bosa's is kind of high too. So I think that's what he's talking about. But
just put Bosa and Mahomes in the same sentence as far as voices. It's kind of a stretch for me.
Yeah, Mahomes' voice is pretty funny.
It is. I'm trying to think of another guy. There used to be guys out there. I was like, what? It was Frank Gore. I freaked out the first time I heard of
What does
Frank
he
Gore.
sound like?
He sounds like this, man. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna like he's high pitched. He's a high pitched dude.
Yep.
And you would have never guessed it too. But yeah, Frank Gore freaked me out the first time I heard him talk. I was like, there's no way this mean train is like that high pitch.
Another crazy one that I didn't expect when I saw him playing at Clemson is Trevor Lawrence. That guy's voice is like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like it's crazy deep.
Yeah, I mean that's another guy that could be considered in the top 10, right? Trevor Lawrence, pretty solid guy.
Well. Did well this year.
All right, Mahomes is Kermit the Frog voice, definitely. Always gets compared to that guy. All right, do you guys have anything else to say about the Lions?
No, I don't.
Cool. Well, I don't have any other topics for us. Do you guys have anything else to say before we end off?
No, I think we hit everything. You know, the biggest news from each team in this AFC NFC Championship week.
All right. Well, this ain't NFL, but Cat from NBA. Are you saying he could go in for Purdy?
No, Tom was.
Are we talking about
Talking about his
voices?
voices,
Oh, okay. I thought we were still saying who could be better. Okay, my bad. He says, "Go Niners, bang bang Niner gang." We will be covering the Super Bowl more in depth. We haven't even talked about the matchup and who we think is going to win yet. But there's going to be more videos we release as we go into this Super Bowl weekend. 2 weeks from now, we probably won't talk about the Pro Bowl at all just because it's become a joke at this point. There's nothing really. Well, there'll be a few funny highlights potentially out of the weekend, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty boring. But yeah, we'll have some cool content for you guys. So make sure you guys always stay subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell so you see when videos go up or when we go live, and then make sure you join the Discord in the description down below. And make sure you what was I saying? Follow us on all social medias. Follow us on TikTok. We just released a really funny TikTok. AJ did well. I think that's about it. But until next time, keep on grinding.